The worst version of yourself usually isn't created overnight. It's built slowly through habits, routines, environments, and choices that you repeat every single day without even knowing it. And for a long time, I was starting to build a version of myself that I never wanted to become. Not because of one big mistake and not because of one bad day, but because of small things that I kept allowing to happen. I would be rotting away, doom scrolling for hours on my phone, smoking, vaping, drinking every night, avoiding discomfort and putting myself down at any chance that I got. In doing that, I wasted so much creative time and potential. I would tell myself that I would do this or start that tomorrow, but you and I both know that that would never happen. But honestly, somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that something had to change. And I think most people know and feel that same way. I think most people have that little seed in the back of their mind that says, you don't need to do this, or you don't want to actually live like this. But the question is, do you water that seed, or do you starve it and keep degrading yourself? This is how I'm killing the worst version of myself. Everything starts in the mind, before the routine, before you quit anything. It starts right here, and honestly, I don't think anybody really talks about that part. They just tell you to wake up at 5 a.m. and change everything in one day, and then suddenly your life is different. But in my opinion, I don't think that's actually how it works. So let's talk about how this should work. You see, I've had things that I've always cared about. Making music and this YouTube channel have always been on the forefront of my mind. But when I was at my worst, I would barely do any of that. So I always knew that there was something that I had to change. The difference between people who change and the people who don't is not willpower and it's not discipline. At least not at first. What is first is whether you believe that a different life is even possible for you. And that's the first thing that has to shift, because if you don't believe it can change, then it won't. Simple as that. For example, I grew up around a lot of alcohol drinking, a lot of drug taking, and to me it was normal. So for a long time I just accepted that as me, and that was who I was. I had to stop accepting that in order to realize that it's not impossible to live a life that I actually wanted. If you want to know something that has genuinely changed how I operate, it is that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just noise, and you get to choose which ones you act on. At my worst, I wasted so much time and energy on negative self-talk. Countless hours of just beating myself up, telling myself that I couldn't do things, and convincing myself that I'm not capable of anything. But to be fair, I almost feel like that is normal, and everybody goes through this. But none of that is real. It's just a habit. A mental habit that I took as truth, but it's not the truth. It's a pattern, and patterns can be broken to align with better paths and better patterns. The way that I started to break this pattern is honestly quite simple. Whenever a thought came to mind that would be dragging me down, I learned how to refuse to follow it. I learned not to argue with it, in that you just don't go there. You redirect it. You redirect the direction, and quite literally, you throw it away. You throw the thought away, throw it out the window, and get it out of here. It sounds very simple, but it's genuinely how it works, and it's what I've been doing. The whole game at the mental level is that this isn't something that just happens in a snap one day, overnight or something. It's something that you have to constantly work on. You have to constantly give yourself better thoughts and slightly make better choices one day at a time until it just becomes natural to you to do these things and get better. One of the biggest things that I had to face, and that I believe everybody should come face to face with, is that we are naturally just addicted to comfort. When you do things that require nothing from you, like doom scrolling every day on your phone and watching shows and smoking weed and drinking that give you like this dopamine, this false sense of feel good, you'll simply just never grow because you're not giving yourself any discomfort. Think of your comfort zone like you're putting yourself in a box, and And you literally can't grow outside of that box. That's the problem. It's uncomfortable to expand your box and see new things and add more volume to your life. Everything is worth having on the other side of doing something that challenges you or causes you to work hard. That shouldn't just be a motivational quote or anything like that, and honestly it's not. It's just how it works. It's facts. It's factual. Good things and good practices in your life should feel hard. I personally don't think anything's impossible. It's literally written out, I'm possible. And just that whole shift alone is worth more than any habitual change that you can make. So naturally, when you have this mindset, you just start killing bad habits, right? You just start peeling the potato of bad habitry. But any advice I can give on physical habits or anything would be finding the habit that does the most damage to you and taking that out of your life first. Only do this by itself, you don't want to overcomplicate it or make it too hard for yourself. I took out nicotine from my life well over a year ago, and I never thought that would be possible. I seriously thought that I would die from lung cancer or some shit because I was so stubborn to quit vaping. But how I did it was that every time that I urged for a hit, I would replace it with something else. Give your hands something to do. Like they say, the saying, idle hands are the devil playthings. It's true, alright? Give yourself something to do. Take control and do it. If you always wanted to learn an instrument, do that. If whatever you want to learn, just start learning something. A lot of people stop learning after high school and college, but the thing about life is that it's a constant learning process. So you should never, ever stop learning. You have to replace it, or you're just leaving a hole there that you just dug out. But you have to fill that hole with something else, You dig out the bad thing and you gotta fill it with a better thing. Whatever you replace that with will be personal for you. It could be the gym, cooking, playing guitar, reading. It can be a creative project. It doesn't matter. What I think that matters is that whatever it is, it should build you instead of actually numbing you. And while still being honest, I struggle every day still. I'm not perfect. I still drink. I still do a bunch of things that I probably shouldn't be doing for myself. But like I said, this is a constant process and you'll never be perfect. There should always be stuff that you want to fix and take out of your life that are damaging you. And there should always be aspects in your life that you could do better in. You have to stop waiting to feel motivated. Motivation is never the starting point. Action is. You have to take action and then motivation follows after that while you're already moving. If you think this is a lot easier said than done, let me give you a simple task that you can do every day to make sure that you stay on the right track. I call this my habitual checklist. I want you to make a checklist of 10 to 15 things that are productive that you could do every day on a daily basis. It could even be taking a shower if that's what you're struggling with. I know a lot of depressed people out there actually don't take showers because I was one of them, right? I can admit that. I used to not take showers for days, sometimes even weeks. That's terrible, and it's honestly quite gross. I was just in some depressive slop that caused me to do that, and I'm telling you that you can get out of that just by doing this. 10 to 15 things that are productive and you could be doing better in your life. It could be working on something you care about towards your dream a little bit, maybe even writing in a journal or reading, going for a walk, simple as cleaning your room, whatever. But what I want you to do is make sure that every day you check off at least 5 of those things. So 5 checked and then 5 to 10 blank ones. Try to aim to check off every single one, but make sure for sure you do at least 5 of those things. Once you're able to check something off once a day for a week, you're able to delete that because it's now a habit. Replace it with something else, or constantly throughout the week be changing this up, deleting things, adding things, and I promise you'll just automatically start the ball rolling. So it just helps you keep up with that. I'll show you a simple thing that I do on my phone, right? Here's one right here. All right, I put a widget here on if you have an iPhone, and I'm sure on Samsung you can do it too. There's daily reminders app or something, and I put a big ass widget on my phone, right, that covers up this whole square. And this is where I do my checklist. So I have guitar, edit one of my videos, get a new SD card. See, it could even be like stuff that you have to do throughout the day, you know. Ask people what their favorite book is. That's just something that I do personally. Anything like that, and then you can just check it off from here. Like, I played my guitar today, so I just checked it off. And to me, that's been super helpful. I use it every day. It can be physical for you, write it in a book, whatever. Try this for 30 days. To be honest, you might fall off at some point, but whenever you just think about doing it, do it, you know? You don't have to make it a super priority. This is a process and it's not a destination. I'm better than what I was and my direction is right. And truthfully, that is all that I'm after. As long as I'm aiming in the right direction, I think I'm gonna keep gaining this momentum. Always have faith in wherever that you're going, even when you can't see it. The person that I wanna be is someone who is constantly growing, putting himself in discomfort and uncomfortable situations, someone that's always creating, someone that tries things and goes to different places, experiencing all that he can. I don't necessarily want to be rich in money, I want to be rich in life. I think you have your own version of that, some idea of who you want to be that you haven't let yourself fully believe in yet. Well, start believing in it. And then do one thing today that person would do. Thank you for watching. This was a way different video than what I'm used to putting out. But like I said, nothing's impossible. So if I want to try doing a video like this, I'm going to try doing a video like this. I wouldn't think that this is a normal video that I be making, but here we go. Here we are. We're here. Tell me what habit you're taking off first, besides the whole mental change that I was talking about. What habit are you going to take down? I hope this video inspires people to better themselves, whether it's minuscule or huge. I had fun making it. Thank you for watching, and come back next week for another banger of a video. See you later, family. Bye.